There are many of great things about outdoor bouldering, and if you have never actually given it a good hard go, you should definitely go give it a good hard go, nay. Now, the first thing about outdoor bouldering that you should know is that you should bring at least 2 crash pads. We want 2 because 1 is just never quite enough and 2 is barely legal. Obviously, the most obvious reasons why we want to have crash pads is because when you're tired and fatigued, you want to have some place nice and comfortable to lay down or to sit down upon. The hard rock is just not good enough for you. The second and vastly more important reasons for the crash pads is because the crash pads themselves protect the rocks from dumb climbers falling upon them. Wouldn't want to damage good old Mother Nature like that now, would we? In addition to the crash pads, make sure to bring consumables. I, on most trips, can suffice with just some drinking of the liquids, but you may like to have something more munchable. Did you know? Sometimes it can be quite cold outside, and other times it can be quite sweltering outside. And other times it may be quite buggy outside, so dress accordingly and don't forget the bug spray. Just a quick FYI between you and me, the best time to climb outside is when it's nice and cool. This is because it increases the friction upon the rock, upon your skin when you make contact with it. As opposed to the worst time to go is when it's swelteringly hot where everything's sweaty and it's very easy to slide off. Of course, that's nothing compared to climbing in the rain, which is absolutely atrocious and should never be attempted for fear of injuring good old Mother Nature. Got that? Now, of course, no one is going to believe you sent a rock outdoors unless you capture it via video. So the tripod or some form of a mount of a camera, some say is a total necessity, lest you want to be labeled as a liar. Not to mention if you fatality yourself upon the rock, you will become socially famous for approximately 2 to 3 days and then quickly forgotten. Also, partner, I don't know about you, but if you're like outdoor bouldering by yourself, it can get a little bit spooky, especially you're super deep into Mother Nature, you know? So, I'm not saying it would be a bad idea to bring defensive stuff with you or anything. Since I carry 2 unregistered arms with me at all times, I usually don't find the need to bring any external gears. Also, a battery bank so that you could charge your phone up so you can make emergency calls in case you ever find yourself in a particular situation where an emergency call would be necessary. Spooky. Now, with all that being said, let me just go over all the things to expect once you finally do reach the rock or something of that nature. The approach is kind of slang for getting to the boulder. Sometimes the approach can be relatively easy, but I tend to find that the approach is more or less always really annoying. A hike, arduous. I hate approaches. Personally, if approach was a person, I will find them and hurt them. And if it's like your first time outdoor bouldering, I do recommend you bring someone who's already been there once or twice or thrice so that you don't have to spend your time looking for boulders, because believe it or not, even though the rock does not move, it's still hard to find them if it's your first time. When you finally arrive at the boulder, everything, and I do mean everything, is a foothold. But also at the same time, there's like only 3 footholds, but that is one of the most wonderful joys about outdoor bouldering now, isn't it? Not that you would know. There are no colors to dictate where you cannot place your body. Out in the wild, you have something called free range. Now, this is obviously extended to your hands as well. If you can grab it and make it make sense to grab it, I tell you what, you can grab it. The only thing that matters for outdoor bouldering is the start hold or holds and the exit point. Oh yes, I almost forgotten. When bouldering outdoors, almost all the climbs are top outs, meaning you must mantle above the rock, establish balance on top of it. You probably want to come down in a safe manner as well, in order for you to count the sin. If you don't, it's sock and it will not count. So, it's not exactly the worst idea to go on top of the top out of the boulder first and clean off the top, because that's normally where debris gathers, because Mother Nature be a little bit filthy sometimes. And you don't want to get to the top and place your hand on a bunch of leaves or twigs only to fall off and hurt Mother Nature with your dumb body. That'd be a tad bit ridiculous, nay? Mind your hands, because these boulders and the rocks outdoors are very textured. This mostly depends on the type of rock you climb on, but this type of rock which I'm climbing on, which is known as quartzite, I believe, or quartzite, offside, some type of side. This rock has sharp edges. Now, these sharp edges, as their namesake, will literally slice up the skin and flesh from your bones. It's not even a joke, really. It's just par for the course, so don't get too scared. This very same rock, it also has some nice texture to it. The texture is good because it catches onto your skin, but the texture is bad because it catches onto your skin and therefore will literally rip the flesh right off your bones. Again, just par for the course. Now, let me tell you, the outdoor bouldering does kind of impose some form of a fear factor into your climbing, because if you fall too awesomely, you could potentially damage something important. And due to this, you will find all that hippity hoppity jumpity gym climbing nonsense to be a tad bit how should I put this eloquently, useless outdoors. Instead, you will become a static masterpiece if you wish to fall with elegance. And if you're to ask me, the biggest draw for outdoor bouldering is the fact that you could take it off and acquire a nice tan. Not only that, but you can also make loud noises. And it will be completely fine. All of this is quickly followed by what I like to call recognition. You know how you are proud of that nameless blue climb that you did in the gym? Well, it's nameless. However, Oxygen Cocktail V9, if you know, you know. And people know, and trust me, it's good to know. But besides becoming part of a greater community, the real reason why you want to climb boulders of the outdoor variety is, it's just so much more satisfying to send an outdoor boulder than it is ever to send an indoor boulder. Not only is the outdoor boulder worldly recognized as a legitimate landmark, one would say, but the idea that the boulder will always be there, it's a direct reminder of your past if you're able to send it. A good reminder. And did I mention? The boulder will always be there. You can climb what hundreds have climbed before you, and hundreds after you can climb what you have climbed. Each boulder is its own little piece of time in your timeline that says, well, when I was your age, young whippersnapper, I did Oxygen Cocktail. Can you? No. Shut up. That's how strong I was. Ha ha ha. You know, something of that nature. And you can test yourself against some of the best climbers in the world by climbing on things that they have climbed before. You know that one V15 and you know that one climber that's really strong? You're like, well, what's the difference between us? You're gonna find out real quick. And the boulder is a constant reminder of, almost a mocking reminder of, that it constantly sits there menacingly, haunting you until you send it. I mean, it will never leave you, like most things in life do. And will you treat these boulders with care? Some chalk, followed by some brushing, followed by some it's a pretty good way to clean it off and make it doable and prevent it from getting too greasy. And obviously, if you're out there by yourself looking for the boulder, just look for the white chalk marks on rocks. That's typically where they are. Typically speaking, where the chalk mark lies is where you should grab, typically. As for me, these outdoor boulders are like the ultimate goal for non-comp climbing individuals. These boulders forever sit still as a measurement to your climbing prowess. I train to mount these bad boys in gym climbing. While gym climbing is indeed my favorite form of climbing due to the convenience in the environment of humans surrounding it, outdoor bouldering is most definitely my goal. And let me tell you, when I discovered outdoor bouldering for the first time, I felt like I had a good direction in my climbing career, somewhere where I actually wanted to go. And now I train for the purpose of one day crushing a V15. Outdoors, obviously. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time, partner.